Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on data cleaning and data analysis. If you look in this particular file, we have a report on May sales report 2024 where we do have several regions like Asian Pacific, Middle East, Africa, Europe and also Americas. So basically what I want to do is I want to actually analyze this data and I want to know the performance of each region, each product and also the month-on-month performance. So if you look over here, we have several sheets. So what I want to do is I want to combine all of them and I want to clean the data and lastly I want to analyze this data. So in each particular sheet we do have like the products like iPhone, MacBook, Apple Watch, iPad and other products, and it shows the monthly sales from January up to May. So how am I going to clean this? So let's get started. So the first thing is what I'll do is I'll just press Ctrl N. Ctrl N means it will open a new Excel file. So N means new, Ctrl N means will open a new Excel file. I'm going to go to the data and I'm going to click on get data. So get data from file and then I'm going to click from Excel workbook. So I'm going to click it over here because I want to import the information from the Excel workbook. But the thing is you need to know where you save your file, whether you save your file in desktop or in documents or in downloads. So I save my file in desktop under a folder 13 June and this is my file. And then I'm going to press import. Once I press import, you will notice that another box will appear. So of course here we have all the sheets from Africa, Americas. I'm not going to click one by one and I'm not going to use append. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the sheet. For example, I'm selecting this Africa sheet and then I'm going to press transform data. So if just say you're new to Power Query, cancel means you will just cancel it off. Load means it will either you can load in pivot table or when you press load, it will directly load the information into a table format in a new sheet. So it's either you can load in pivot table or you can load is a table format. But instead of loading, I'm going to press transform data so that I can clean the data because the data is not clean. It's not in a proper tabular format, a proper database. So that is why I need to click on transform data. Once I click transform data, you will notice that we will be navigated to Power Query Editor. So in this case, what we need to do is we need to clean the data. But what happens is I only select Africa. By right, I need to select other regions as well. But instead of selecting other regions, what I can do is I can just remove all this, change type, promoted headers, and remove this. So now we have the source. So the source will tell you what is the file and what is the name of the table and what is the sheet. So you might be wondering what is sheet and what is this? This is basically the name of the sheet and this is the type, whether it is a range of data or a particular worksheet or particular tab. Alright, so this is similar. This is actually also the name of the sheet or the name of the table. So what I want to do is I don't want the database, so I'll just remove here and I filtered out defining. I only want the sheet. So I'm going to press OK. And then after that, what I need to do is, since we have all the sheets over here, I'm going to click over here to expand the table. So when I click it over here and I press OK, what happens is it will expand the table. So here we have Asian Pacific, we have Middle East, we have Africa, we have Europe, we have Americas. So what I want to do is basically I want this information. I need to do some data cleaning. I need to combine all these. I put some cleaning and then only I can load as a pivot table to do some analysis. So first thing is I will select these first two columns. Why? Because I want to fill down, because here we have null. Null means blank. So what I do is I need to fill it down. So I'm going to press right click. In mouse we have left click and right click. So I'm going to press right click. Once you press right click, you can fill down so that all the information will fill down. And the next thing is, if you notice over here, the first two rows is not necessary because over here we have the first two rows. This is not important. So I'm going to go to remove row, remove top row. I'm going to click it over here and I want to remove the first two rows. And I press OK. And just like that, the first two rows has been removed. Then next thing is what I want to do is I want to promote the first row as the header because we have Jan, February, and then we have May, June, July up to December. So I want to promote the first row as header. So the first row, instead being the first row, I want to upload it, promote it as the first row as the header. So I'm going to click it over here and then it has promoted the first row as the header. Next, if you see here, we do have unnecessary columns like column 17, column 18, column 19. These are not necessary. I don't really want this. So what I do is I'm going to select all this until the end and I'm going to press delete. when you press the delete button, it will delete the sheet. So now we have all the information, like we have the code, we have the region, we have the product, we have the models, and we have the monthly sales. But I don't want the total, I don't want the null over here because it's redundant. So I'm going to select here and I want to filter out null and filter out total. And I'm going to press OK. So once I press OK, so now this is your data. And then I just want to select the monthly data, January up to December. So I press shift until December and then transform unpivot column. And just like that, you have this data over here. So what I'm going to do is, I just want to switch the column. So this one, I'll put here as region. This is the code. And this is the products. And this is the models. Monthly data, so I put here months. And this one is value. So I'm going to change this to a different format, to a whole number format. So we have whole number. And if you notice over here, when I click it over here, we do have some in lowercase, normal case, uppercase. So what we can do is, we can transform the data so that it will be more consistent and presentable to our bosses. So what we do is, under transform, we go to the format and we click all in a normal place. So capitalize each word. So once I click capitalize each word, you will notice right now, we will have all now in normal case, like Africa, Americas, Europe, all now in a proper case rather than a uppercase. And then what you can do is, you can actually go to home and you can press close and load. When you press close and load, it will load as a table format in a new sheet. But I don't want that. What I want is, I want in a pivot table. So close and load to. So once I press close and load to, I can actually choose pivot table. So I'm going to click pivot table. And then what I'm going to do next is, I'm going to press OK. So it will go to a new sheet. So over here, it's under Africa, but I mind, we will change it later. So what I'll do now is, I'll just, for example, I'll just stick on the products. So now we have the products, and then I'll just stick on the value. So we have the values over here. And instead of these numbers, I can actually format the number, right click, number format. I can choose accounting because I want the thousand separator, and I don't want the decimal, and I don't want the symbol. I press OK, and this is the data. So I actually want to sort the data. So I'll just press here, right click, sort largest to smallest. So this is our data, and then you can actually put it for monthly as well. Okay, but before I put monthly, I'll just put the value over here again because I want to show the percentage allocation, the apportionment of each product. So right click, and then I'll just go to show value as percentage of grand total. So now this is our data. So you can actually change the name. Maybe you can just put here total sales, and this is the apportionment. So this is our data over here. So we have total sales and apportionment. You can actually put the monthly data as well. So I'm going to put the months over here. So we have the months as well. So now we have January, February up to May, and we also have the total sales and its monthly apportionment. And we can also use the slicer to play around. So I'm going to click on insert slicer, and I want to choose by region. I press OK. So now you just say I click Africa's. It will show me the performance of the sales in Africa. If I click Asian Pacific, it will show me the performance of Asian Pacific, and so on. But now if you notice over here, the name of the sheet is Africa. And even when I go to data, under this queries connection over here, the name of the database is loaded as Africa. So of course, when you present to manager, your manager will prefer in a presentable format, to avoid some confusion. So what you can do is, you can actually right click and you can rename it. So for example, I click it over here, and I right click and I rename. So instead of Africa, I can put on May 2025 sales, and I press enter. So now this is the data, and also you can change the sheet name, right click and rename. You can actually put May sales. So just like that, this is our data. So now if just say I go to my Power Query editor and click edit, so the data, instead of showing Africa, it will actually appear as May 2025 sales. And then when I press close and load, so now this is our data. So we can actually play around. We can also prepare a dashboard, some interesting visual based on the given data.